Alrighty then. Beer30 is when you walk into a bar or a VFW, and in that 30 seconds, you can already tell.
That guy right there is drunk, that guy's an idiot, and that guy down there knows it all.
There are programs out there beyond the VA.
Many non-profit organizations. The Beer30 Show.
It's the Beer30 Show. Made by veterans.
For veterans.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Beer30 Show with Joel and Danny. Today we have a special guest. Let's make sure that we have this online. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Just double checking. Okay, so today we have a special guest. We're actually talking about the burn pits, and we were very lucky to get one of John Barry's lawyers on the line. John Barry is a Barry Law Firm in Nebraska. That's motto I hear, the best way to support and defend the Constitution of the U.S. is through zealously defending the constitutional rights of each individual client. For your convenience, they have two locations in Nebraska, 2650 North 48th Street and 108 North 49th Street. And first of all, let's say thank you very much for coming on the show.
No, thank you all for having me on here. It's always great to get to help out some veterans, so glad I get to talk with y'all.
So, I'll go ahead and just ask you if you could just go ahead and give us your background and a little bit about yourself and what your involvement in the burn pit case lawsuit that you guys are going through right now.
All right, my name is Sierra Coleman. I've been working here at Barry Law Firm for the last year and a half now on veterans claims. I'm an attorney. I come from a military family, so I grew up, around Eglin Air Force Base down in Florida and Hurlburt Field and all them. So I was really exposed, especially with the conflicts in the Middle East, to service members coming back. So when I got the position here at Barry Law Firm, I've been working with them to help veterans get benefits from the things they experienced overseas, including burn pits.
Awesome. Very interesting. Yeah, hey, I'm gonna open it up, Danny. If you got some questions, go ahead. I'm reading the total text line right now on some following questions. If you want to go ahead and ask her.
Yeah, a lot of people, when I talked about this, we didn't really know what the whole incident was. Do you have any background information on what this whole lawsuit is about?
Sure. So there's a class action lawsuit going on through another firm, and what they're doing is they're suing the DOD for continuing burn pit activities after a congressional order ordering them not to. I know that that's kind of what happened in terms of the class action lawsuit, but each individual veteran who was exposed to that may also have some disabilities personally that they can get disability compensation from the VA for.
Okay, can you tell us the types of people that would maybe qualify to, I know you said you deal with the VA aspect of it all, but the symptoms and that kind of stuff that people have had because of these burn pits?
Yeah, sure. So just to start off, who was exposed to a burn pit? If you were stationed in Iraq, Afghanistan, there's also in Djibouti in Africa after September 2001, and pretty much any military base over there, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, and the UAE, you are likely exposed to a burn pit. And what a burn pit is, for those who may not know, is it's on base. They take all of the refuse and trash from, the day-to-day operations. They would put them into a pit and burn them. Now, how does this affect you? That whenever they burn some of those items, it released chemicals into the air that you may have inhaled. This can cause a lot of respiratory issues, cardiovascular issues, and then they're also looking at some cancers, insomnia, neurological problems as a result of inhaling those toxins in the air.
It sounds like a lot like the Agent Orange from Vietnam era.
Right, yeah, if it doesn't affect you now, it might affect you in the future. I know my dad was Vietnam, and he's just now getting the effects of Agent Orange, and he's like 70 now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, that's happening a lot. Some are calling this the new Agent Orange, especially because the DoD did have knowledge that this was happening and knew what some of the effects were. In fact, in 2009, the Congress passed a law trying to get some incinerators into some of the bases out there to prevent this from happening, but the military continued to burn in burn pits rather than use the incinerators we purchased, or Congress purchased.
Now, really quick, and you told us your name, and I got a lot of stuff going on in the background, so I apologize. But I forget your name, so I was going to address you by your name, but I apologize. But on the text line, we got, she says she already has soldiers going through photos for the burn pit / KBR recognition. Please inquire whether they have available a revised or an updated list of OEF.
Okay. To my knowledge, I don't know if there is an OEF list in particular about it. I do know that the VA has come out with a recent, here's the problem. The studies the VA, of course, has had issued don't provide much guidance in terms of a burn pit claim. A lot of the studies so far have shown that there's no connection to most conditions. However, in the VA, the VA also has a burn pit registry, and they publish the results from that from veteran self-reporting, and we're seeing a lot of connection between respiratory, cardiovascular, liver conditions, etc. Officially, though, the VA's position is that research does not show long-term health problems from exposure to burn pits. I think that will be changing in the future, though.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems like I've been with the VA now since 2008, and I know there's a website called VA Watchdog. I don't know if you guys pay much attention to that website, or if you guys work alongside with whoever the administration is with that website, but they talk about all the stuff that's going on with the VA, the changes, the stuff. Because one thing I tell my guys when they go in to do their VA evals is those VA doctors, they're not your friends. It is their job to point out that you're lying or that there's nothing wrong with you. They are not your friends. They're not there to help you. They could care less. They are just there to help the VA because it's their paycheck, which I kind of think that's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, I've had a lot of problems with that, especially because, there's some examiners, I don't know if in y'all's regional office you experience this, there's some examiners who, when I find out a vet's going to that one, I immediately request another examiner because those examiners, the VA pays them to sit there and talk to veterans and deny them, so I had one who was sitting there eating a sandwich during one of my veterans' PTSD examinations. They're not your friend. You've got to make your case in front of them. So that's a big problem. Is a lot of these VA examiners aren't sympathetic at all to the veteran, and a lot of veterans get fooled thinking, oh yeah, this doctor, he's gonna tell the truth, and that may not necessarily be the case.
Right. And I'm sure that I haven't gotten any texts about it, but I'm sure it's on the veteran's mind. When you're dealing with these cases, if a veteran comes to you and says, hey, I'm having these issues, is it like a criminal investigation, or is it like a kind of, if you get an erect investigation where you don't have to put any money up front, that you only win if your case, if your case wins? Is there money that the veteran has to put out?
No, sir. For the most part, there's not any money veterans have to put out. I think with some of the more niche kind of cases, if you have, let's say you were in Camp Lejeune, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with the contaminated water there.
Okay. No, I'm not actually.
Okay. Well, Camp Lejeune, there were some benzenes and trichloroethylenes, basically stuff that causes cancer in the water. And the VA released a list of just a few things that they will connect. So let's say you have, most of them are liver related. So let's say you have another liver condition that's not on that list. The most money you might have to fork out would probably be to go get an independent medical opinion from a doctor who would be willing to say, yeah, it's more likely than not that this guy's liver condition is related to his exposure to the dioxins at Camp Lejeune. That's really the only place that you're spending money on your VA claim. Mostly it's spending time.
Okay.
It's spending time reviewing what the VA said and reviewing your medical evidence. That's really where the time is located, is attacking what the VA is saying about you and showing that you have evidence that has already shown that that's not true.
Okay, yeah, the only reason why I asked that is because, when I got back from Iraq, I went through a really bad divorce, and I didn't comprehend or understand that every time, at least this was with my lawyer, I don't know how you guys present your cases, but with my lawyer, every time I emailed back and forth, well, that cost. That cost, yeah, that cost me. So that $3,000 deposit fee that I put in, I mean, that went through, that went past that amount within 3 or 4 weeks, I believe. And that, I think in the end, my divorce cost $40,000 altogether, and I was married to her for less than 2 years. So that's the only reason why I bring up, hey, is it going to cost veterans to come to you and join this lawsuit? The other question I have is, I've got some vets that are telling me that, well, I lost my brain for it there for a second.
It's okay. When you're thinking of it, let me address.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
No, with VA attorneys, that's not how our fee structure works. Most VA attorneys, it's a percentage of the back pay. So from the date that we filed your claim to the date granted, we'll get a percentage of that. Nothing going forward, anything going forward is all your money. You can contact me as much as you want. I have veterans who I talk to, I email back and forth every single day to let them know what's going on in their case. It doesn't matter how much you talk to me, and I'm happy to talk with my veterans. So we're not like, a criminal or civil firm that is going to bill you every time you want to know what's going on. We keep you in the loop, and we want to make sure we stay in contact with you because health conditions change quickly, and we don't bill for time spent talking to attorneys. So no, sir, that's not how we. Most VA firms, and our firm in particular, we do not operate like that.
Okay, all right, yeah, that was my question, and I don't know why I got brain fart. I got a traumatic brain injury, so it doesn't really surprise me. But the question that I have is, I got a lot of veterans that are from different states. I got some from. I got actually some that's in Germany. I've got some that's in Colorado. I've got some that's in Florida, because this show is actually a national show. with
Yes.
you guys being in Nebraska, can you guys represent any veterans anywhere in the United States, or do they have to be in Nebraska?
No, sir. We represent veterans from all 50 states and 9 different countries. If you have any Southern veterans out there, I'd love to hear from them. I'm originally from Tennessee and Florida, so if
Okay.
they want to give me a call, I'd be happy to talk to them.
Hey, I'm
We
from
don't-
Tennessee, so I'll take advantage of that.
Oh, perfect. We're at Tennessee.
Well, I currently live in Memphis. I'm not from Tennessee. I'm from Indiana, but I live in Memphis,
Oh.
and my wife is still active duty. So.
Well, yes, sir. We'll let you fly this time. As long as you're not involved, and I can continue this radio show.
Oh,
Hey.
I'm a fan of West Coast teams because I'm originally from
Oh.
California. A lot of
yes.
different states. Me and Joel met when we were in high school in Indiana, so.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Well,
But yeah, we do represent from all over the place. Just give us a call. I'd be happy to talk to anyone.
that's awesome. Well, we're running out of time. I do want to throw out these hits that I got a person that has been sending me information, but she was a little skeptical about coming on the show because she's not very good at doing interviews. At least she's great at talking to me on the phone, but she doesn't like doing interviews. But that's okay. I don't hold that against her. She wanted me to let everybody know, and I'm sure you could say yes or no to this, but right now KBR is denying that there's 100 pits. They state that there's only 30 pits. Right now here in Colorado, the National Jewish Hospital has established a Pacific program that provides lung disease diagnosis and treatment regimen for OEF veterans suffering lung issues. And I wanted to, and she asked me to real quick to give another shout out to, this is Barry Law Firm Criminal Defense Attorneys in Omaha, right? Nebraska.
In Lincoln, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I got like 30 screens up, so I'm trying to keep track of everything. The website that they can get on, correct me if I'm wrong, is J as in Juliet, SB as in Bravo, basically jsbarrylaw.com. If you type in Barry Law Firm Nebraska, it'll come right up. So that's the email, or that's the internet address. If you have questions or you want them to represent you in this lawsuit that looks like it's containing a lot of people, you heard it. You've heard it from her. It does not cost you anything. You guys are still looking for like pictures and evidence of the burn pits and stuff like that, correct?
We focus on getting the individual veteran compensation for their exposure to the burn pits. So their arthritis, their COPD, high blood pressure, coronary artery disease, anything that happened to you in service. We specialize in getting veteran service connection for that and getting you your disability benefits as a result of that. And part of that is any injuries that were incurred when you were exposed to a burn pit during OES or OIS.
Okay, all right, fabulous. Well, we're running out of time. I've asked a lot of questions. Danny, before we let her go, do you have any questions for her?
Yeah, I got a couple questions. Give me just a second, though.
Yeah, no problem. Danny's wife is away, so Danny's actually acting like Mr. Mom right now. So he's coming back to the chair, or maybe not. Okay, well then I'll just go ahead and ask you. Is there anything evidence-wise when the veterans come to you that they need to make sure that they have their ducks in a row, or do you guys already know what to look for and they don't even need to worry about it?
For the most part, they don't need to worry about it. When they're giving us a call, if they happen to have a copy of their DD-214 nearby, that's awesome. If they filed for VA benefits before and got a rating decision, have that nearby. We'd like to be able to talk with you about that and make sure we're taking care of you. Another big thing is for those veterans who are wanting to file for disability compensation for any exposure to burn pits, for any conditions they've developed as a result of that. I do want to remind you there are 3 ways to do it. You can do it online through e-benefits. You can do it down at your VA regional office. The VA website says that you can mail it to regional offices. I've had some trouble with that because they're automatically going to forward it to the Evidence Intake Center for your region. The Evidence Intake Center information can be found on the VA website. I go ahead and submit those forms in to that Evidence Intake Center, and definitely make sure you get documentation that the claim was actually filed. You know, either send it certified mail or get a copy when you're down at the RO, or take a screenshot if you're doing it on e-benefits. You want to make sure the VA's not losing your claim, because that's been happening. So just a heads up for anyone who's filing a claim, that's some things you might want to be aware of.
Right, yeah, you know, you're exactly right, because I know one thing I know one thing when I got out of the military, I actually have 5 copies of my Army military records, and when I turned my packet in for my Purple Heart, it took 3 copies just to get to HRC. So you're exactly right. When it comes to the paperwork, you need to make lots and lots of copies. Danny asked me to ask you if active duty qualifies or just when they get out, if they, it on their VA claim. Yeah, I guess that's his question.
Okay. So when you're either active duty or getting out, when should you submit a VA claim? Is that am I understanding you correctly?
That's what I'm understanding. I'm sure if I'm wrong, he'll write me, but yeah, that's what I'm comprehending.
If you're active duty, you can go ahead and prepare some stuff. You can prepare a 526, which is the initial claims filing process. Another thing, when you're active duty, doesn't hurt to get the names of those who are with you in service. A lot of times they get these Vietnam veterans, and you know, it's been 30, 40 years since they've talked to anyone that they were in service with, and we need a statement showing that they were in Vietnam. So making sure you go ahead and document, you know, who you were with, you know, if there was an injury that you got during service, you know, when it happened, any letters that you've sent home or emails. We're in the technology era now. Make sure those are saved somewhere, because you never know when down the road, if it's, you know, 5 years or 50 years, you might need them for your VA claim.
No problem. Once again, we really appreciate it, and if you're just now tuning in and you forgot the information is Berry Law Firm. You can call them at 402-817-6550, or if you're better at email, you can go to their site at jsberrylaw.com. It's in Omaha, Nebraska, or Lincoln, Nebraska. So just Google it, and you can ask them questions, because that's all the questions that I got. Unless Danny has some more, and I'm going to look here. Do you have any more questions? No, you're good? All right.
No, I do have another question.
Okay, sorry about that.
A minute break for a second. My wife has a PRT today, so she couldn't exactly watch the kids. Anyway, if a person has already received a VA claim, and they've been out for a while, can they still qualify for this? Can they still be seen for this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, they can still be seen for this. You know, even if they've gotten a claim filed, even if it's gotten denied, you can always reopen claims. If you do want, I do want to point out one thing, and I mean, this is a VA thing. They do have a VA burn pit registry. If you do the 28-page VA form, submitted in, you are entitled to a free no-cost VA examination. Is their big pitch for this? It's how they're gathering information from vets on the effects of burn pits that they're experiencing. So just a heads up to our veterans out there, you don't have the money, that's another way that you can get an examination to determine whether or not any of these conditions apply to you.
And where can somebody go to find out the registration form?
Sure, the registration form, if you just go to the VA website, honestly, if you type in VA burn pits, it'll take you right to it, but it is part of that VA website there. It can be reached at publichealth.va.gov /exposure/burn pits, or just search VA burn pits. It'll pull it right up for you, and you'll be able to see registry is the middle tab in the very center section.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if Danny has any questions, but I will let you tell us if you have anything to add. Let us know before we let you go, and we really appreciate you coming on the air. It's too bad that we couldn't talk to John, but I'm sure that he would be proud with the great job that you did this morning.
All right, I'll leave y'all to tell him that, but I do want to go ahead and point out, if you do want to file a VA disability claim, like they said, Berry Law Firm, we can be reached at ptsdlawyers.com is our VA section website, and our phone number is if you want a toll-free phone number, we can be reached at 888. Sorry, I'm struggling here.
No, that's okay. I had my moment earlier, so you're good.
We can be reached at 888-883-2483 is our toll-free phone number. We're available 8:30 to 5:30 Central Time, but if you call that number, it's 24 hours, and you'll get a hold of me. I'm in the office all weekend, so give me a call. I'd be happy to help anyone who needs some assistance.
All right, awesome. All right, Danny, so anything more, anything to add, or?
No, I really don't have anything else.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to keep it so my daughter stays quiet.
All right. Well, well, once again, we really appreciate you coming on, taking the time, talking to us, and on behalf of all the veterans, I thank you for helping us, because it's too bad that we got back from Iraq and now we're having to fight the war on the VA soil.
Yes, sir. That's one of the toughest battles. My grandpa received a Silver Star in Korea, and he said he fought harder against the VA than he ever did in Korea. So I'm here for him. Anyone who needs help, y'all give me a call, okay?
All right, awesome. Once again, thank you so much.
No worries. It was a pleasure talking to y'all.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.
And that is the sound for the 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning. I didn't get this out earlier that Beer30 is brought to you by Common Ground Golf Course here in Aurora, Colorado, a place for all and all the game teaches. I was trying to get that out earlier, but a lot of commotion, a lot of things going on. We're still working at this live thing, to be honest with you. So what did you learn today, Danny?
I learned that whenever I need to do something where the house needs to be quiet, my kids feel like they want to be the loudest. I seriously have no issues with my kids. Like, they're screaming, they're quiet most of the day. They actually help me pick up the house and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, you should be here. You should be here at 12 o'clock when the mailman comes for the dogs. I swear I don't need a doorbell. I've got 3 dogs. And it's bad enough. My service dog, he never barked. But now he looks at the little dogs and he's like, oh, I'm supposed to bark. And then he scares me with his bark and it affects my PTSD. So, no, I totally get it.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because I never have this issue unless I need to be quiet. She was just sitting there just for no reason, just wanted to scream. I'm just like, really? Come on. I can't hear. So I didn't really get to hear much about it. I did learn a little bit about it. So I didn't. Like before, when we were talking earlier in the week about this show that we were doing, I didn't know anything about the burn pits. My wife didn't know anything about it, and my wife had mentioned something in one of the Facebook groups that she's a part of about her group that was down in Afghanistan. That she was actually near one. So this was an interesting topic to talk about. I wish I could have heard more of it, Taylor.
Right.
But other than that, what about you?
The thing that I learned about, I was going to ask her if they were a VA law firm or if they were a private contracting law firm, and, it doesn't really matter. They're a law firm and they're helping veterans. The thing that I learned about was it doesn't cost anything for the veterans. So if I'm guessing, if the veteran doesn't have a service officer, and he has the evidence and he's having the issues that she speaks of, you can call them and they can file your claim and they can help you fight the VA.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I might actually go through them since, of course, my wife's mom lives up in the Omaha area, even though she says she was from Lincoln, Nebraska. But either way, I mean, for some of the things I had, I wouldn't mind talking to them about. So...
And I guess I could have mentioned that, we could have people call in. The call-in number is 720-316-0368 when they can ask questions. But I just got in a hurry this morning. I apologize, everybody. But, you guys have our Beer30 Facebook page. You guys know our website, thebeer30show.com that we just put up. Like us on the Facebook page, like us on Twitter. We're here to get the information out to you guys. We're not here to talk about what we ate last night or to post pictures on what we got as toys. We're here to help you guys because, once again, my whole philosophy is life. Just like the military, it shouldn't be a damn secret. And I know I cussed there, but, you get a little irritated. So, if you don't have anything to add, Danny, we'll go ahead and tell everybody that tune in Monday, this coming Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We talk to job-ready veterans. If you need a job... definitely you want to listen to that you want to listen to that show, and we don't normally do podcasts on Friday's edition, but today we had a lot of listeners, so we'll probably go ahead and post that podcast.
If you don't, I guess thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
A message from your radio station.
We just like to say that any connection between your mother and us is